It's been 5 years, 5 solid years that I made the decision to leave Islam and follow Christ. And what a journey, honestly. It's been a roller coaster, it's not a straight road. I've seen so many things that I wasn't expecting to see. I wasn't thinking that I would like witness such things in my lifetime, but here we are. If I'm going to go into my salvation story in 2020, I would not just mention that without mentioning what happened in 2019 that has a linkage with it. Uh, it's a long walk, honestly, and I may not like have the right words to put it together. I'm just going to like do a video and share my testimony, and let's see what God does from there. Let's see what God does with it. Yeah. So in 2019, actually I was sick like a normal student, and I like a normal student would be sick and go home. And I went home, and you know what was like a malaria sort of thing. It became something that I have to like visit 2 to 3 hospitals. And the last thing I could just remember was that I went to a laboratory for a test with my mom and one other or two other women, I can't remember, and I collapsed. And you know, in a Nollywood movie, all these things that you see like flashlights, like something like that, like you see sky, you see flashlight, and you see that the person collapsed. Yeah, that was just like it. I I'm going to share this testimony. So the next thing I know is that I woke up in the hospital the following morning. And I think I remembered everything that happened during my passing out very well. But like I could not like put sense into it at that very moment. But I just knew that I forgot. Like a week after that time I forgot. And I did not remember until like almost a year being saved. That was when I was able to put things together. So here is what happened in the dream. Is it dream? I don't know. I still know that I passed out and for hours, and it was like around afternoon or evening time, around 4, because the sun was like already going in. Then I woke up the following morning. So I remember they were making adhan for like call to prayer for Subri, like the earliest morning prayer. That was like the exact time I woke up. They brought somebody into the ward, and I could remember asking my mom, what happened? What happened? And she was like, oh, they brought somebody into this world. Like, you're just waking up. Like, we have been here since yesterday. She was trying to cheer me up. Like, just, like, brace up and everything. Like, let's live here. Like, here is not a place. And I really appreciate that, because that took me out of that place, like, faster, because I wasn't comfortable. So, that quickened my healing. So, in that oh, okay, it's a tree and some birds in my compound. So I was wondering what's going on. And in in that state, this is how it happened. This is how I remembered it. I remember that I was lying down in the hospital. My mom, she was sitting beside me, was sleeping. I can't. Then I saw something like my body moved. I'm sorry, I'm referring to Nollywood movies, but that was how it was looking like. Like my body just moved from, like, I can see my body on the bed, and I know that my spirit just moved up the hospital ward. Like I even like tried to sleep back, like maybe your spirit come out of your body, but it wasn't going in. And before I know, I was like ascending, and that scene was cut off. I don't know what happened in that. And I just remember that I was suddenly in a place, like an office, waiting to see somebody, like, okay, waiting to, like, it looks like he went for screening. I was with credentials, like life credentials, and I noticed that the place was warm, everybody was calm, they were like lovely, they were nice, they were accommodating, and they were just like caring for your welfare. Like, do you care for water or coffee or something? I think probably I requested for water here, I remember. And they were like, okay, that since I'm waiting because it's not my time yet. Like, can they take me around? Like, can they like take me to El and Evan? And surprisingly, I agreed. I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. And that's how we went to. I think we went to El first, yes. And as we were about to reach where head was, like I was like, no, I'm not going. Like, we're already feeling the heat. Like, people were screaming, they were shouting. That kind of fire, I've not seen it before in my life. Like, the fire was so much, it was so big and so tall, and human beings, they were like ants inside. Like, it was so scary. I was like, no, 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 I'm not going to. Like, the person was like, no, we'll get to the gate. They said, I'm not going to get to the gate, I'm going back. And we turned back and was like, then I don't know, maybe somebody else took me to Heaven. So Heaven, I can't really like describe what it's like. It's not something that looks like the world here. Like, it looks so different. And I don't know. It looks something like an amusement park. Like, people were enjoying. It was a beautiful garden. There was water everywhere. People were enjoying. They were living well. They were like, they were even beckoning on you to like come in, come and enjoy with us. And you see something like that, you're like, yeah, that's where I want to be. And we got to the gate of heaven, and I was like, I want to enter. And the angel was like, no, you are not entering yet. Like, no, 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 you have not qualified to enter anywhere. Like, you don't know your stance, right? And they were like, let me enter. They were like, no, 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 we just have to go back. So I followed the angel, or the I can't remember what the people look like. Like, I can't remember faces. I just knew I was somewhere, and that was how we went back to the reception. And it was my time. So they were like, okay, am I, like, do I think, based on what I've seen, where do I think that I'm going to enter? Am I entering hell or heaven? I was like, heaven, of course. I was like, oh, I was like, what made me so sure? I said, because I'm a good person. And really, I was a good person. I'm still a good person. So I do good. And they were like, okay, where did I get that? Like, how did I know that? How am I sure? I was like, okay, that's what the Quran teaches and everything. Like, if you do good with other people, God will reward you, right? And I was like, yeah, yeah. And they were like, well, let's see. I was like, what's going on? This is like against everything that I know. And that was how they opened the screen, and they were actually showing my life. Like, I was seeing everything I did in that short life. I was seeing everything. Like, they were, I don't know, some I was not proud of. I can't really remember everything, but I shall know that the thing was like showing scene by scene, scene by scene. We shall watch the end of the life. So they were not like, okay, with what they have seen that I'm a good person truly, but that would not take me to heaven. And I was like, okay, what would take me to heaven? They were like, now they are going to return me back to earth to figure out. I was like, return me back. And while I was trying to like ask questions, like challenge them, that was how I woke up, as at that time, back on earth in the hospital. But like I said, I forgot these things. I forgot these things until like after salvation, like months after. So prior to salvation, I came back to school after that incident. I did not even remember. So I came back to school. I was living my life. I was like, I've forgotten about those things. I wasn't even thinking about it. But then I remember one day that I just started feeling unsatisfied with my life. Like, oh, I just started thinking that okay, as at that time, if I die now, where am I going? Like I've done everything that Islam asked us to do. Like I've done everything on the list, everything on the five pillars of Islam, except one, which I don't have money to do, which is Hajj. Like, okay, what is next then? I'm still not sure that if I die as at that point, I'm going to go to heaven. Like, I can't imagine myself inside the grave as at that time. Like, I can't imagine the horror I will face. Or, I don't know. I can't bring myself to think about death as at that time without being worried about where exactly I'm going. Like, I just knew it that as at that time, I wasn't going to make heaven if I die, and I just want to find a way to please God, and so I can make heaven. If I not like maybe I was going to die as at that point, but like anything can happen at any like I don't now I have the understanding that with long life shall he satisfy me. But then it wasn't like that. And if anybody dies in that religion, you have to like accept it the way it is and submit to the will of Allah and bury the person almost immediately the person dies, and that's the end, and they keep praying for you. So I know I was not going to wait until that time to like know whether I was going to make heaven or not. So you know, I think I just kept on with praying, with fasting, with doing good things, like with doing good deeds like I was doing before, maybe helping the needy, contributing in the mosque and everything. So then I remember one day I got so fed up of that life, and I was like, God, if truly you exist somewhere, they say we should not talk like this in Islam, is prohibited as at that time. But like God, if you are in existence and you are the one that created me, I want to know if I'm going to make heaven, if I'm going to like make hell, and what can I do to make like I remember I said it in Yoruba pé kí ni màá ṣe tí màá fi rí ojú rere ẹ̀, like what will I do to see your good face, something like that. Like I just want to be sure, I just want to know that I'm going to heaven. And that wasn't because that somebody told me I was going to die. That wasn't because I was like having health issues or anything. Like there was nothing at that moment. I was living healthily, I was fine, that indicated that I was going to die. But I was living in fear. I always lived in fear. And I said that, and that went. And I even forgot that I said that statement, and I was living my life until one day. And this day, with the couple of things that happened, I'm going to skip for now till later. I just remember that I am alone in my room, and God spoke to me. To be honest, that was not the first time I will hear God speak. Even as a Muslim, like I've always like heard God speak from childhood. I've always said things. I've always seen things. Something like that. That was going. Even though some of us said it is not ideal, it is not good, especially as a woman, it is the devil and everything. But me, I know that it definitely came from like I'm so sure like like I could defend that anyway. That yeah, that was it. I have the gift of prophecy. I've always had it, and and I could remember that day. Like the voice is not so different now. Like the voice I hear before Christ and the one I hear after Christ, it's not so different. It's just that it became clearer and more in tune. Like I'm more in tune to the voice. I don't know how to explain that, but like that's the way it is. And and I was now hearing, daughter, come home, like it's time to come home. I was like, come home to where? I'm not dying yet though, because we have not settled the aspect of whether I'm going to heaven or hell. I'm not coming anywhere. And I will remember that time I'll carry prayer mat, I will want to pray, and I will hear the voice of God say that is not your way. Come home. And I was like, I'm not coming home. He said, Shona one Ben, is it by force? I'm not coming home, I'm not going home. And I remember that I can't really like explain these things, but I just try and use like human knowledge. Like I will remember then that my heart, like it will be like my heart is beating and I'm hearing Jesus. Something like Jesus. Like Jesus. And I remember I'll call my friends there and say, tell me about Jesus. When they tell me about Jesus, I'll be calm. And but that I don't because Islam has already told me that Christian people or Christianity like is like a misroad, because like there's actually some similarities between Islam and Christianity, and you will know by the virtue of the knowledge in Islam is that Isa, which is like Jesus, is born of Maryam, and here is the line between Christianity and Islam, that okay, Isa said, Isa in Islam context said that he's going to send somebody after him. It did not say somebody. Like I can't remember the scripture right now, but like so I know that Isa, which is Jesus, said in the Quran, according to the Quran, that there will be he will send a messenger after him, and which is what Muslims refer to as Muhammad. And that is like the line between Christians and Muslims, because Christian believes that the messenger Jesus sent was the Holy Spirit. It wasn't a human being. It was not somebody in the flesh. It was a guidance, or it was a guidance, it was a counselor, it was a friend in a spirit being context. And as at that time, the knowledge that I have was that Jesus is like before Muhammad. So if a Muslim is saying they are converting to Christianity, it looks like. So if a Muslim is saying they are converting to Christianity, it looks like they are going back, right? So it took a lot of time from my heart beating Jesus, from me hearing, daughter, now is the time to come home. Now is the time to come home. Where you are, that's not home. And asking my Christian friends, to tell me about Jesus. It took a long walk from there. There were a lot of things that happened. But so far, I so so I decided on my own accord to actually follow Jesus after the encounter. There were several encounters during this period, but for the sake of time, this is long overstray. Maybe some other time I will talk about how I was able to see Jesus himself, how I was able to see him. There will be another video where I will talk about that. But I know it was willing. It wasn't forced. There was no force, yeah, because at the point I was like, okay, if that is the way I want to follow, I was like, no, you have to be willing. So I willingly said it through my mouth by myself, that I decided to. I believe Jesus came and died for me, and on the third day he rose again. I believe he came and died for my sins, and I believe that through him I am saved. I am no longer condemned, and I'm no longer going to get punished for my sins. So this is the summary of 5 years of salvation, 5 years after Islam. It has been a beautiful journey. There were definitely challenges, but it was worth it. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in my next video.